Good afternoon. I'm Mia Luyando with Badass Art, and we are back today on a new coloring adventure. We're going to use our Puddle Town book. Been talking about this for a couple of weeks, but we've been waiting for everybody's copy to arrive, and also I was waiting for some charcoal colored pencils to arrive. Today I said I was going to be using these cute little pencils from Panda Fly, and I have used them and I do like them. I'm going to be using a combination of these and also some Kalour charcoal pencils as well. So if you're ready, let's get started. You can follow along with me. Now Kalour has a nice set of 72 colors, and I grabbed those because, you know, it's a little more to choose from, a little more to work with than the Panda Fly set of 24. So the first color is this cobalt turquoise. It is number P021, and we're just going to come in here on the water area. We're just going to give this a little dusting of color. Now remember, these charcoal pencils are very chalky, very dusty. You don't want to run your fingers over them because it will smear. I'm using these neat little blending stumps that I got from Amazon. They come with this little sharpening stump. So when you're finished with the color that you're using, you just kind of scratch off the color so you can have a clean palette to work with. But definitely, I mean, if you rub it, you don't need the blending stumps. Let me preface this. You can use a Q-tip or a cotton swab or your finger just as easily. I use them just because they're inexpensive. I think I got a set of 20 or something like that for less than $6 on Amazon. Now I am just kind of adding this color here and there, just kind of giving it a suggestion. This is one of those instances where we're going to make the grayscale work for us. And right now, I think I will just use my finger to smooth this out. And as you can see, definitely got that chalky substance there. It's just like a chalk on a chalkboard or anything else, the kind of chalks that you get, just the pastel sticks, art sticks. They've just been put into a wood barrel and marketed like a pencil so that you have more control over them. And I personally enjoy working with them. It had been a long time since I had used charcoal pencils, or really just charcoal in general. So I took a few days, about a week, and practiced. And I do have a couple of videos with swatches and a pale skin tone if you want to check those out. And we're just kind of adding this little reflection here and just smoothing it out. You don't want to lose all your color, but you don't really want big streaks here either. Now the cool thing about charcoal is it mixes well with other pencils. So if you're using Prismas or Faber-Castells or Black Widows, you can come in and lay down colors with these. You can go the opposite direction. You can obviously start with the charcoal and come back in and work the other colors in. In those instances, I usually start with my wax or oil pencils and then come in and work in the chalks later. But for this one, we're just going to work with chalks all the way here. Now remember, you're working with a slick surface, so it's going to show lots of movement, lots of reflections. It's going to show lots of colors. But because we're dealing with a lot of gray and a lot of water, we're going to keep our colors more to a minimum in this one. Now, for the rain, I'm just going to kind of pull down some of these drops. I'm not making it, a huge exaggeration. But once again, I'm, just kind of giving that suggestion of color in there. Of course, if you like these pencils and you want to give them a try, I got a set of 72 for less than $40, I believe. So I will definitely link those in the description. And this raindrops in the back, we're going to do the same. Just kind of pull this down. Now, I'm going to get kind of a cream color, kind of a yellowish cream. This is a soft beige, but as you can see, the tip is kind of a creamy color, P002. And I'm going to come up top. What we want is this to look really bright. It is a light source up here. I'm just going to kind of pull some of that color down into the blue. I'm being a little heavier with the color at the very top where it is the lightest. And it's very clear where we're making our marks. And I'm just using light pressure here. I'm not trying to make a lot of, deep, deep lines in the paper. I just want it to be very subtle. And remember, these kind of go in both directions. I'm going to go for a little bit of a brighter yellow. This one is lemon yellow, P003. I'm going to go back up here. We kind of want a touch of sun. Now, obviously, we don't have yellow rain, so we're just kind of giving this a little bit of a warm glow. And this is kind of more central around where this lighter it's almost like a ray of sunshine is kind of beaming down on top of her here. And that's what we're trying to showcase with this brighter yellow. So I'm bringing it in a little closer to her body. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of color to her skin. This is Flesh Tint P008. There's nothing too aggressive about this color. And since we're not doing a hugely detailed face here, I'm just lightly going over the entire face area. I'm just kind of smoothing it with my finger. I'm not paying attention to a lot of details right now. I'm more about getting this face color on her skin. And I'm going to choose a bit of a darker shade. It says brilliant yellow, but it's kind of a, let me see what this looks like in the color swatch chart. That's another reason why I love these. You can find it and know exactly what you're getting. And I don't see it. Let's see, brilliant yellow P007. Right there. I did say it right there. So that isn't too bad for a flesh tone. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go right in here to the kind of the shadowy part of her face, and right under her little neck, and then right around her hands, just where the darker spots, the shadowy parts are. And in that instance, I am going to take the blending stump and kind of smooth this out. I have more control with it. And if you don't have one of these, absolutely just a Q-tip, or you can roll up a piece of tissue or a cotton swab. It just something with a bit of a point on it to give you a little more control. And as you can see, it doesn't take a lot to move this color around. Now, it is a bit yellowy, and I'm okay with that right now. I do think I want to put a little more pink in her skin. That does give her a little more warmth. Let's see what's going on over here. this one is Peach, P005, but this is definitely not what I would call peach. It's much more of a pinky flesh tone. So we're gonna add this to her cheek. And you can see how much, chalk dust comes off of these pencils. So you definitely don't want to flick that away. In cases like this, I get like an old makeup brush that's clean. Just grab something cheap from the dollar store, or you can blow it away, but definitely you don't want to flick it away with your fingers, because it will leave color behind. Now, Puddle Town was a request, and so were the charcoal pencils. And I am always excited to hear what you guys are interested in learning. So if you guys have a request, if there's a book that you want me to use from the Badass Art books, definitely drop me a comment below. Or if there's a certain brand of pencils that you'd like me to use or explain. And it doesn't even have to be pencils, paints, markers, you name it. I'm always happy to give things a try. So let's try this again. This little blender. Now, I had in mind that I wanted to make her galoshes red, but because that's such a bright color, I don't want to do that just yet. I do, however, want to make her jacket yellow. So I'm going to come in and add this color. Now you guys can make these any color you want. This is just my vision, obviously. And this is definitely using the grayscale to our advantage here, because I'm not adding a lot of different colors. Just kind of adding this one right over top. I think I'm going to make her pockets the same color too. Now I'm going to get a darker yellow. Set here. It seems to be stuck. This is yellow ochre, P006. And I'm going to go around the shadowy parts of her little coat. Now, as a rule with charcoal, if you're right-handed, you start from here and you work down. If you're left-handed, you start here and you work down, because you will drag your hand through the chalk and it will smear. I kind of jump around, but I don't really have a problem going back and adding more color in if I smear it. But sometimes smearing is not fixable, and I don't want you guys to be unhappy with your work. So erring on the side of caution, it's usually better to choose the colors that you want to use ahead of time and kind of lay them out so that you know what you're doing and can just kind of work your way through, and that way avoid future catastrophes. I'm not actually doing the best job teaching right now. Now this is yellow, or golden yellow deep. It's kind of got an odd tint to it, but I want to come in here and add this color to the wooden siding of the building. Now, I'm not coloring every inch of the boards and the wood, obviously. I'm just kind of giving it a going over here and there. It doesn't have to be really dark. Remember, we're kind of foggy and misty back here, so everything is a little lighter than what it would normally be. Kind of hazy. I'm going to do the same over here. You can still see the details of the building under the color. It's fairly translucent. Darker brown. This Inca yellow, but it's kind of a warm brown. I'm just gonna get just a little bit of extra something over here. Again, you don't have to color every every inch of the page to get a really good effect. Of course you can if you want to, but that's not always the way I go forward. Let's capture a couple of these little rooftops over here. And a lot of times you have enough chalk on your blender to give just a tiny bit of color in other areas. Now I'm going to add that red color to her galoshes. This is Scarlet P017. And mainly, I'm trying to stay on the highlighted part of her boots because we're gonna kind of mix this in. And I'm going with a, excuse me, a pea green, 0P62, kind of a lighter green, because once again, we are just touching the highlights of this because we're coloring through the rain and the fog and the mist. So things aren't going to be as bright and sharp as they normally would. But now remember, you have this and you have reflections of this. So you're going to want to add just a touch of the green and the reflections. And you can do the same over here. And this looks like proper grass over here. And just remember that this will come out into the reflections of the street. As will the dark brown of the building, but not, not a lot. You don't have to overwhelm it, but that it will show up. Now I'm going to go in with this same brown color. And add her cute little hair. And because it looks like I've worn away most of the blue, I am going to go back to that original blue color, the cobalt turquoise P02. one. And I'm going to add that back down on the street. Just kind of touch that up again. And there you have it, a rainy street. Now you can obviously go in and add more details, more color. You can make it more intense, brighter. You can do a lot of different things, or you can leave it exactly as it is. But from here on out, it is all up to you. You can definitely go in and add yellow touches to the lantern, that little glowy look. But since we are at 31 minutes already, I think I will end the video for today. And I hope you enjoyed our charcoal pencil tutorial and our Puddle Town book. And I hope everyone will join me again. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe so that you know every time I release a new video, which is generally Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope everyone enjoys. Have a great day.